Let's turn our attention, though, to the next match. It is a Shield semi-final, seeing Russia up against Spain. And there are the head-to-heads of the 8 meetings. 5-3 in the series to Spain. They last met in Dubai 12 months ago. Well, here are the two sides, and for Spain, their top try scorer of the tournament so far, well, they've only got one each actually, has been Adam Newton, tries to Newton, Carter Lopez, and also Carrion. They've got plenty of experience in guys like Ignacio Martin and also Pablo Feijó. And for Russia, their top try scorer wears jersey number 1. You see him there, Ostroshko. Vladimir Ostroshko with 2 tries, 59 in his career, the most experienced player in the Russian team. The sevens, here it is in Dubai, out in the desert, joined in commentary by Gavin Cowley from South Africa. And Gavin, this is their 5th match for these two teams over the last 2 days, and really the mental side of the game starts to kick in as well.
I've noticed that with Spain in particular, you know, that also Ignacio Martin, their normal captain, who's also one of the older players here, is on the bench. They're not starting with him, and whether or not they are holding him back for a potential final, well, remains to be seen. But one of the key things I think for Russia too is Vladimir Ostroshko needs to take over that mantle. He's the playmaker in the side, Jackie Carter the playmaker for Spain, and it's very vital that they really show their worth in a match like this. James Matthew from Scotland is our referee.
Time on.
Glorious conditions here in Dubai as we get underway for the Shield semi-final between Russia in the white shirts up against Spain playing left to right. And it's that man with so much experience, Pablo Feijó, who brings the ball up to the 8-meter mark and offside. Not retiring behind the hindmost feet actually, and they're just slipping over. It was Carrion, one of the try scorers to France. Guilty of holding on to the ball though, so mistakes from both teams early in this match.
Yeah, not a great start that. Spain had the opportunity, didn't make use of it. A lot of very tired players here, second day of play. It's very warm here in Dubai.
Well, the Russians have scored 5 tries in the 4 matches that they have played. Their best performance or closest performance was obviously this morning, where they lost to Portugal by 24 points to 7. Not one of the core teams. In fact, they were one of the core teams in the first time when the IRB moved it out to 16 core teams, and then they just lost their status last year, but they're unable to remain one of the top 15 teams. Spain, very much similar side for them, but they've been on the circuit now for a couple of years. Of course, looking forward to that qualification tournament in Hong Kong in March of 2014.
One can't underestimate as well the importance of and the wonderful news about 2016 Rio, because, you know, countries like Russia place a high emphasis on medals at the Olympic Games. So opportunities to take part there, crucial for all the teams that could potentially be there.
Good steal from Russia as they go on to attack. Here is Ostroshko, top try scorer for them, one to beat, the fend, and then the power and the finish. Just like that, Vladimir Ostroshko scores his 3rd try here in Dubai.
Well, pretty classic this from Russia. They'll be pleased with the way this went out. Just a little bit of a body swerve there initially, and then over goes Ostroshko. He's the man we were talking about a little bit earlier. Eyes on the defender, arm out, the little handoff. See you later. And the try scored.
And the 27-year-old, very powerful winger in the 15-a-side game, and also a member of the squad that attended the Rugby World Cup, the 15-a-side Rugby World Cup in New Zealand some 2 years ago. Some saying that he wouldn't look out of place in an England Premiership jersey. His 18th tournament, and certainly the most experienced player for the Russians. That's a tremendous kick, giving his players plenty of time to get up there and compete. But here are the Spaniards through Lopez. Now it's out to Carter. Carter inside the Russian 22. He's not held, so he gets up and pops it back. The ball is free there, and the first player onto it is Kunov.
It's okay, balls out, play on.
Ball out, says the ref. You can hear the Scottish ref talking to the players, and now they try and find some space. Here is Feju. And ducks under a high tackle. The penalty there.
High tackle. No. Hold.
Ostroshko, the man here.
Okay, keep the tackle down.
Now just been told to just keep the tackle down. Have a look at this. He kind of ducked under it too, didn't he?
Yeah, well, it's a bigger man against a smaller man. You were talking about that a little bit earlier, Willie. Big man always wins, does he?
Certainly does. Feju, the loop, and then the pass out to Della. Clean out is good. Always find that with these teams, once they start to get against a side that's of a similar ilk or similar mindset and skill set, we get a better competition than what happens when they play some of the big guns here. Now just 5 meters short. Spain still in possession and deep inside the Russian half. Reaching out is Feju, trying to get the ball down. Referee in a very good position. But as you can see, he's been pulled down short. And now they'll score a very easy try coming up for Adam Newton. His second here in Dubai.
Really good play that by Adam Newton, because he got himself into a position, realizing they were that close. So watch out, he moves wide and into where potential space is, takes the pass and completes the try.
Good pressure. This for the lead. And successful with the extras was Francesco Hernandez.
You do make a good point as well, Willie, about the sort of the levelness of the two teams, you know, with similar skill sets and similar track records. There's so much of a mental aspect on your second day when, you know, you're tired, you've had a full go in the first. We're into knockout now, so you win or you lose. So very important for both these teams to concentrate.
Yeah, good point that you've made there, Gavin, because it really is a mind game now. The body's exhausted, the heat out there, and I think that you can't emphasise just how warm it is for the players out there, the little niggles that they may have picked up from day one. And the other important thing that we haven't even spoken about is the mindset, because these two teams have lost all 4 matches that they played. Here's Feju, Pablo Feju, good defence coming in, and a wonderful tackle there. I think it was Kotov. He just kept his eyes on him. It was Yusupov, rather.
Filatov.
Open.
Did very well to drive him into play, into touch, rather. Kudinov overthrows it, and so can Spain. Gather it, they can't. And now it's a foot race. How's the bounce of the rugby ball? It's bounced up beautifully for the man that actually towed it ahead.
Backwards, play on. Back off, Red, play on.
Filatov. Now Korokov. Well, he's not onside, so there should be a penalty here. Surely the assistant referee saw that, and he hasn't. And so Spain get out of jail with that.
Very lucky assistant referee giving the throw-in to Spain, who've completed 14 passes to the 4 of Russia. But it is Russia who are maybe looking the more dangerous team.
Line or scrum?
Well, we're into the last 30 seconds here. The other thing too, Gavin, I'll be interested in your thoughts that as we get, well, it is a global game. When you've got two sides here, Russia against Spain, and a referee speaking English to them, and of course, that being their second and maybe some of them third language, for them to actually hear the call and to actually understand what the referee is saying must be very difficult.
I think it can be because of the speed of the game too. There's just so much is happening so quickly. And
never in the tunnel.
And you know, if you've got someone with an accent that's not easily understood, it can be quite difficult.
Well, we saw that where he asked the option of, do you want this line out again or the scrum, and they basically looked at him as if he was from Mars.
Maybe they were not too sure about the scrum or the line out.
Well, the collapse there means that Russia will get a final chance. Kudinov. Now they push it wide. They need to get it out to that man there, Ostroshko. Big and strong. There's the most experienced player in this Russian side, and there's a pass that's gone to ground first. Lazarenko picks it up and then can't do much more with that. So that ends the first half of this, the Shield semi-final between Russia and Spain. And we're all tied up, it's 5-5.
Thank you. Okay, cool. Anything else on your side? Anything? Okay?
Все нормально будет, все, чуть-чуть. Потому что ты должен чуть-чуть напрягать эту линию. Ребят, начальный удар. Посмотрите, у них в центре играет маленький. Рамиль, еще. Старик, да пробуй. Высокая. Закрываем. Мужики, владейте мячом.
Пацаны, вот хочу сказать. Вай. Блять, ну там масса, они все бегут на этот мяч. Враг и вправо.
Пацаны, с позиции 10-го, Рамиль. Сразу пас.
Все получится, мальчики, давай.
Давай, пацаны, давай.
How's your Russian, Gavin?
I was just thinking to ask you exactly the same thing. Can you help me a little bit there? I'll help you with the Spanish.
My Spanish is much better than my Russian, I can tell you that. Don't forget, if you want to get involved in selecting the Sevens Dream Team, hashtag Sevens Dream Team through Twitter, and get in contact with us there, the hashtag Dubai Sevens. Anything you're doing with regards to this magnificent game, love your feedback, and plenty of the commentators and also others appreciate it, and we will respond. Of course, our question has been, where are you watching the Dubai Sevens? And well, it certainly is a global game. We've had people responding from all around the world. We're underway. It's all tied up after the first 7 minutes of these two nations. Russia in the white, playing left to right. Martin does a brilliant job in driving them back. Martin for Spain, the number 4, one of the most experienced players in their squad. Tackle is effective. Discipline required here. As Russia now look to try and move it from inside their own 22. Kudanov, he's been active as Mikhail Gudanov, who made his debut here some 12 months ago. And so plenty of new players for both of these squads. Spain, remember, one of the core 15 teams on the IRB circuit. Russia were until they were denied that 12 months ago. And now Newton, one of the try scorers, turns left, then turns right, and goes straight into two of the defenders. Cleared quickly through Lopez. Big wide pass here required because there's players out to the right-hand side. Spins, turns, pirouettes, goes oh so close, does Hernandez, and now they clear it. Fajou only needed to control it, and that was another try. He can't believe it, Pablo Fajou.
Oh, he's got such good hands normally, as Pablo Fajou. Very often finding himself around the scrum. Just have a look at this. He didn't even take his eyes off it. Ball just eluding him. But there's a real tenacity about this Spanish team at the start of the second half. And I'm sure that their coach, Jesus Delgado, had plenty to say at halftime at 5-5.
Well, I'm just checking what the date is, and of course it's the final day of November, because I'm having a look at those moustaches that a lot of the teams are actually wearing. Fajou, we'd never see him with a moustache, and he's got the boards as well. And we've seen a couple of the other players, well, the sideboards that we saw one of the players, I think he had
Zach Test,
I think it was. Yeah, there you go. There's the
Pablo
boards.
Fajou. Willie Lucy alongside me with his little mouse, and
mine's been there for 25 years, so
mine's been there for closer to 40.
So it's not just Movember for you and I, is it? But yeah, great cause as well. Obviously prostate cancer, and a lot of the players and a lot of people getting involved in raising money for a very good cause. And so of course the message is that if you haven't been to see the doctor to get the check, that needs to be done. Very much in the minds of a lot of people nowadays is the cancers that are available. And here's Carter into Fajou. Missed out earlier on, Pablo Fajou. One more pass should do it. Was that an early tackle? No, says the Scottish referee. And so the pirouette dive, and if he can plant it here, he'll score. Referee says he's done enough, and that's Carter. Jacques Carter's second try here in Dubai. Well, he did it the hard way though, didn't he?
Well, there's a surge here from the Spanish. The key was the offload. When they were going aground, the immediate offload, and then ultimately Carter not held in the tackle. All the rights, and they're not very happy about it, the Russians. They felt that, I'll tell you what, the Russian coach there, Alesenko, and I'm pretty sure he's shouting in Russian, but we could read his lips.
Alessandro Alesenko, he's very passionate. about this team, wanting to make sure that just to improve, and a lot of their more experienced players not here and not available for Dubai. And of course the other thing that we've got to remember is both of these sides here, we're playing 15-a-side rugby just last weekend, so not the ideal preparation. And the whole mindset's different. They certainly haven't disgraced themselves here in Dubai, these two sides, getting better and better with each outing. As we see now, fill it off, move it wide. Ostroshko's at the end of the chain here. He gets it and comes back on the inside and then spins, turns. Good strength shown by the big man. A lot of passes, a lot of ball movement, but not much south-north movement from the Russians. Now they finally get closer towards the halfway mark, and the counter-ruck is good from the Spaniards. That pass probably needed to be given, and that's why he's driven into touch. Plenty of supporters there.
Well, you spoke about these teams playing 15s too, and there's a fair number of them at this tournament that were playing 15s in the last couple of weeks. One of the key things, and of course there are big differences, they're two different games. You know, so the one you might be going backwards to go forwards in the sevens game. Of course, you throw the ball back maybe to create the width in a different direction. 15s today is a far more direct game, as we know. So the adaptation of changing those things must be quite difficult for these players.
Well, they've been here in the heat of Dubai for a week as well. Of course, practice matches leading into this tournament. Little niggles that are perhaps just there. And then obviously an opposition team that are courageous and want to do well. And here comes another try for Spain. Look how much it meant to him. Nil Baro. He was celebrating even before he'd put the ball down. First try in Dubai, his second in his career in his third tournament. And this is good play.
No question. Some lovely stepping there from Fernandez to start with, but it's the support play that we spoke about that was forthcoming again from one of the replacements, Nil Baro, and that surely is going to push Spain into the final of the Shield.
Love that passion. You could see it. He knew that once he was through the last defender, it was try time. Nil Baro, a 20-year-old. Made his debut in Hong Kong.
Okay, let's go, please.
Entering the final minute of the game, Martin gets up to contest. Backwards, you can hear from Scottish referee James Matthew. And Russia, how will they finish their tournament here? Will they be able to go 90 metres to score the second try of the match? Plenty of players out here towards the midfield, and that's where the ball comes, and then it's quickly brought back. Big hit coming in from Ignacio Martin, but he's lost it forward.
You ask how they might feel, Willie. I'll tell you what, I'd like to, or maybe I wouldn't like to be in the company of Alessandro Alicinco, the coach after the game. He was volatile, wasn't he? There he is in picture.
I think he had an afro before he started coaching as well. One of the toughest jobs, without a doubt. And incorrect feed. You don't see that too many times in the game of sevens. It's obviously down the middle, and we were told that the referees actually wanted the halfback to stand a lot more towards the centre as opposed towards their own side, favouring their own side.
That's only the second one that I've seen at this tournament.
Okay, incorrect feed. So can Spain wrap it up with another try? They lead by 12. Martin, players here opting for the kick, and it's not the right option at all because he's kicked it dead. And the referee says that's time. Spain too good for Russia here in the semi-final. Beating Russia by 17 points to 5.